Hello there. In this video, we're going to look at part 2 of the range video. So in part 2 of our domain series, I looked at graphs where we don't necessarily have a left or right endpoint, and we'll discover in future graphs that don't have a left and don't have a right endpoint. But for now, we're just going to be talking about graphs that have one but not the other. Okay, so this was the same graph we looked at in the range video, now with the domain video, part 2. With range, remember though, we have to look at the y value. So in domain, I look at the x value and trace down to the graph. Well, with our y values, we have to go on the y-axis and see that our endpoint is at -2. So my interval notation will begin at -2. And remember, I'm using parentheses when the point is not included. And we can tell it's not included by the fact that we have an open circle. But much the same as we did in the domain video, we have an arrow that's pointing in an upward and rightward direction. The right indicates that our domain goes to infinity, whereas the more upward direction indicates that our range goes to infinity. And remember, when you're using interval notation, you always use parentheses with infinity. Just remember that infinity is not a number. Infinity is an idea of a concept extending to something that's unreachable, and therefore we can never be equal to it. Okay, so let's look at inequality notation really quickly. Inequality, this would be y is greater than -2. We use greater than but not equal to when the point, once again, is open. And just to reiterate a point I made in another video, in future, I will only be using interval notation unless inequality has a stronger purpose. Okay? Interval notation is my preferred method of communicating domain and range. All right, so let's go over the one more example. We have, again, interval notation. And we'll state once again that this arrow looks to be pointed straight down. Now, to reiterate, it is also going to the left ever so slightly, but that doesn't matter in this case because we're only looking at range. We're looking at the y values, okay? So once again, this interval will start at -infinity because it's going downwards forever and ever and ever. Now, normally with domain, we look at the endpoint. But with range, we can't just look at the endpoints. We have to look at any points that might be above. And I notice this point right here is above, and it happens to be the absolute highest point on the graph. So if we trace over really quick, it looks to be at about 7. So my range would stop at 7. And I'm going to use a bracket because there is no hole there to indicate that the point is not included. And if we go ahead and do inequality notation, inequality, again, would be y. And remember that 7 is the highest point. So I'm going to put 7 here, and so everything is less than or equal to 7. And that's how we deal with range when we've got arrows. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have video ideas for future videos, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you for the next video. Thanks for watching.